I can't believe it. I heard a dwarven Grey Warden came to Orzammar and I couldn't help but hope. Look at you. My little sister. A battle-scarred veteran. And with quite the unusual entourage. You look so good, and so fancy. I've been worrying that we're living in luxury while you're suffering on the road. Can you imagine? As of last month, I'm a royal concubine to House Iduken. They've moved Mother and me into the palace. You could fit our whole neighborhood just in the bathing room. I wish you could meet little Endrin, but they don't let me bring him outside the royal nursery. Prince Bhelen! Can you believe it? Now you see why I didn't tell you. It just seems so amazing. My son is an Iduken. The future king of Orzammar spends his nights in my bed. Barat was a toad, but I have to thank him for teaching me to read, dance, massage, and whatever else Bhelen sees in me. That's a horrible, vicious lie. Bhelen told me all about it. Lord Harrowmont always favored Bhelen's older brother, the one who murdered Trian. Bhelen thinks Harrowmont set the whole thing up to frame him. Then he had the gall to whisper these things to the dying king. When the king sent him away, Bhelen cried for weeks. Tell me you don't believe these horrible rumors. I am. I promise. Bhelen could never do anything like that. His first loyalty is to his family. And now you're part of it. But this isn't why you're here, is it? What's wrong? All the news from the surface says terrible things are happening. Darkspawn attacks and a civil war among the humans. Ancestors, save us. I was afraid you'd say that. I hate this. Until there's a king, the Assembly would let the world collapse rather than bow to anyone's better judgment. But I can introduce you to Vartag Gavorn. He's Bhelen's chief lieutenant. He could help you if anyone could. He may be suspicious at first. Don't take it personally. It's been so hard to tell who's against us.
Rica, I'm at the Assembly. This is no place for a woman. What do you mean by this?
Vartag, I want you to meet my sister. She's a Grey Warden and comes from the surface with terrible news.
Of course. I wasn't thinking. It would be hard not to notice the Grey Warden and her eclectic entourage. I hear you seek the aid of Orzammar's finest. Yes, the treaty. I've seen it in the Shaper's libraries. Now the difficulty is that the treaty only compels our king, and we are sadly lacking one of those right now. My prince is the rightful king, but a disappointing number of lords back the upstart Harrowmont for the throne. If you show your support for Prince Bhelen, he might be able to assist with your requests. That hurts worst of all. That Harrowmont would take advantage of the dying king's delirium to plant such poisonous suspicions against his own son. After that, you understand why Bhelen cannot trust the word of a stranger, however close to family that stranger might be. Would you be willing to prove that? Harrowmont has engaged in a campaign of bribery and coercion to ensure that every house serves him. But if a neutral party, a stranger, were to approach certain key members, perhaps with irrefutable evidence of Harrowmont's deception, I'm certain my Lord Prince would show his gratitude. Harrowmont promised the same portion of his estate to two different Deshers, Lady Dace and Lord Helmy. Harrowmont can't possibly grant it to both of them, but they won't find out until after the vote is cast. I have copies of the promissory notes Harrowmont gave each of them. Once they see those, they should both reconsider their votes. Lady Dace doesn't leave the quarter much. But Lord Helmy's adventurous, likes to spend his time at tapsters in the Commons. Remember, don't tell them you got these papers from me. You learned of them and drew your own conclusions.
I knew Vartag could help you. And just wait until you meet Prince Bhelen. You'll love him. Not a lot. She's supposed to be very practical. She doesn't care about larger issues, only how her own house is affected. Vartag speaks favorably of her dedication. His mother is getting on in years and gave up her assembly seat to him. Many of the nobles think he's a disappointment. He actually thinks the lower classes are people. I could almost like him if he wasn't such a vocal supporter for Harrowmont. He isn't, but Gavorn is a very minor house and Bhelen has always favored them. Vartag's son was fostered with Iduken, which was a great honor. Bhelen promised that when little Indrin is 12, he'll spend a year there in exchange. Finally you ask. He's beautiful, with the biggest brown eyes, and so smart. He already knows who his father is. I'm sure his first word will be Prince. But you're giving me that look. I can take a hint. Finish your business and we can talk later. Off with you then. Far be it for me to keep you from service to my house. I still love saying that. My house.
Welcome to your new house, little sister. My Rica tells me you won the Grey Warden's attention at last year's proving. Vartag says you've been a great help in my campaign to regain the throne. Traditionally, the king decides his successor. The assembly just says aye or nay. Kings have only ever selected someone outside their families if they were childless, or if their children lacked the capacity to rule, or, as now, when someone tries using the assembly to pull a coup. To be king of the greatest city in Thedas? I know you Grey Wardens claim to be above politics, but surely, you can't be blind to that lure. Harrowmont spent his life in the Assembly. He only knows how to lead through compromise and capitulation. That's not what Orzammar needs. The Darkspawn are massing for a blight. The land's topside have been torn apart. We need a strong leader now, someone who can stand up to the Assembly. Someone who will rule, not persuade. Do you expect modesty? That is no valuable trait for a king. This is a time for action, not cultured debate. We need absolute unity to fight against the fulcrum of true evil. Absolutely. And sworn on the mail of my ancestors, as soon as Orzammar is united under my rule. Unfortunately, while this debate rages, I have no power to send the troops you need. You've seen for yourself, the city is a slaughterhouse. Criminals run lawless. I could never hold the throne if I allowed such chaos. Jarvia and her Carta are behind this bedlam. If you can eliminate them, I promise as king, I will send as many troops as you need to fight the Darkspawn. I would offer to help, but I imagine you know Dusttown far better than I do. And I will wait eagerly for your return.
Well, look at you all fancied up. You find some princeling to give you pretty clothes while he sticks it to you, like your sister? That's right, I'm a disgusting old drunk. That's why you left, isn't it? Running off to the surface just like your father. Never thought to share a little of that fortune with your mother? I've seen how they look at me. Think I'm gutter trash. Not one of them would let me step foot here if it wasn't for Rica. Precious Rica and her precious little brat. If he chokes on that gold rattle, we'd both be on the street. Oh, precious Rica. What's she done besides getting herself knocked up? I had two worthless brats and no one ever gave me the time of day for it. I deserve what she got, and more. And don't you tell me any different.
We have more in common than I thought.
Well, chew me up and swallow me whole. I never thought I'd see you back here. What happened, Duster? You miss getting spit on? And don't you sound all proper and fancy like. Is that to match the new steel? So what are you doing here? Not crawling back to die in the deep roads yet, right? Jarvia didn't waste a day. Apparently killing all possible competitors was her way of mourning. She made some kind of deal with Barat's family topside, claimed to be his wife, kept the whole lyrium trade flowing. But Endron's death really opened new ground. All of a sudden, guardsmen were all busy in the Diamond Quarter. Jarvia moved right in. Stone, no. You think Jarvia'd give me a hug and a kiss for taking down her lover? We even talked about taking over when he was gone. You think she can't smell that? So, seriously, Duster, why are you here? Look, she'd kill me if she knew I know this. But after Bhelen took Rica up city, the Carta laid claim to your old home. They put a back entrance in. It just goes to some storage tunnels, but there's probably a way into Barat's old estate from there. Now I better get out of here before anyone sees us together, but, tell me how it turns out.
Well, look what we have here.
Jarvia said you were looking for trouble. Congratulations. You found it. Oh! Don't kill me! Sorry, ancestors. What do they teach you on the surface? You fight like a bleeding archdemon. I was just doing what Leske asked. Said Jarvia gave the word to make sure you never left. He told us he'd get you here. All we had to do was take you out. You don't disobey Leske, you know. He's Jarvia's top man. At the base, I guess. With Jarvia. That's where he usually is. I can't. You have to understand. Jarvia knows where I live. I got a little girl there. I tell you anything, she's the one who'll suffer. Really? Oh, thank you. You're a good person. How do they say it? The ancestors have shown their favor. Bless you.
Just can't get enough, huh? You got a free ride out of here, Duster. Why do you keep coming back? Oh, sure. You'll see him around. Not like when you two were cracking skulls together, though. You had the whole neighborhood terrified. Won't be easy. She's gotten real careful since Barat died. Real paranoid. She's got Carta members all carrying these fingerbone tokens. She scratches some mark into them so she'll know they came from her. There's doors to her base all over the city, but only one is ever open at a time. And if you show up without a token, you'd never know it was there. Can't help you there, Selrocka. The Carta members keep them real tight. But that's worth something, right? Maybe just a little. I'll think of you when I go to bed with a full stomach.
If it isn't our little runaway, come back to finish the job?
What was I supposed to do? You were gone and Jarvia's pulling the strings. Not all of us got your opportunities. You got too much sun on the brain. You forgot what it's like. When Barat died, Jarvia came out on top. She's got the swords, she's got the coin, and she's got the bed where I sleep. If you were here, you'd have done the same. You messed with his plan. He lost thousands of sovereigns because of us. What else could he do?
No? We'll see who holds the leash here. Leske, killer.
God! By all the beards of my ancestors! How did you... Where did you come from? You made a hole in my wall! No! I don't have anything to do with them! They're criminals! When they built this part of the city, they must have built over some tunnels. I swear I had no idea. Oh, just leave me alone. I don't want anything to do with this. And if anyone comes asking, I'm gonna tell them you did it!
Well, you've simply outdone yourself. They're talking all over the city about how someone finally went through Dusttown and slaughtered the Carta like Genlocks. Not yet. Killing Jarvia brought me greater favor. But to truly displace Harrowmont, we'll need something dramatic enough to end the debate forever. What do you know of the Paragon Branca? She is a paragon, a girl of the Smith caste who rose to nobility for her brilliant inventions. 2 years ago, she heard of something the ancients created. It inspired her to leave everything behind and venture into the deep roads. She is the only paragon in 4 generations, and she turned her back on her responsibilities. A paragon is like an ancestor born in this time. If she returned, her vote would outweigh the entire assembly. Anyone with her support could take the throne unchallenged. I was hoping you'd say that. So far, my men have traced Branca to Caridin's Cross, an ancient crossroad lost to the Darkspawn 4 centuries ago. Her trail ends there. Perhaps with your warden's expertise, you can find what my men could not. You have my thanks. Seek her in Caridin's Cross. I will try to delay the vote until you return.
Bhelen told me you're going into the deep roads to look for Branca. Be careful. I know you're a warden now, but to me, you'll always be that little girl toddling around and pulling up on door handles. I thought that might happen. I'm sorry. I know you two had fun together, but Leske never had your strength. If Jarvia leaned on him, he would have bent to whatever she wanted. That's how he stayed in favor with Barat. But don't dwell on it. One moment's distraction and the deep roads could kill you. I will. And you'll come home with Branca, put my Bhelen on the throne, and we'll all live together in the palace. Back in Dusttown. Could you ever have imagined saying that?
Let the memories find you worthy. First amidst the lords of the houses, the king of Orzammar.
Do you acknowledge me as king?
I cannot defy a paragon. The throne is yours, King Bhelen.
Then as my first act as king, I call for this man's execution. Guards, seize him! I will return to my palace to gather my generals and prepare our forces for the surface. I will see you there, Warden. You have my gratitude for all you have done for me. Now I can embrace you as a brother. Without your aid, I would not have taken this throne so smoothly or so soon. Nor I. She and young Endrin will stand beside me at my inauguration. My generals are already preparing for a mission to the surface. When you have need of us, you shall have every able-bodied dwarf in Orzammar. Since you did more than I expected, I offer a personal reward as well. This was a mall favored by my brother Trian. Take it with you, as a reminder of your ties to Orzammar. Now, I have much to do. If there is nothing else... As it was meant. Now, I must address my other petitioners. Come back and visit sometime.
My Bhelen is on the throne, and it's all thanks to you. I knew we could count on you. I have to go now. Bhelen wants little Endrin and me dolled up for the inauguration. Come down and visit sometime, little sister.